Hello Labradoodle fans. Today's video is all about perseverance, victory, stamina, toys, and teething. This is your week 4 litter update for the Kindred Souls mini Australian Labradoodle puppies. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Doodles, and today's video is all about the amazing victory we have with these two little warrior princesses. Now, as you know, if you've been following along with us, these guys had a rough start. We weren't even sure that we were going to have puppies at this point. We weren't sure if they were going to be healthy. We weren't sure if they were going to be strong. But we have nothing but all sorts of puppy joy and all sorts of puppy fun news to share today. So in today's video, we're going to give you quite an extensive update on the puppies, a short little update on Mama Rowan, and we're going to talk as well about the importance of toys for puppies and adult dogs. And we're going to talk a little bit about all of how we have accomplished what we've accomplished. Well, how the puppies have. Not so much us. So we'll start with Mama Rowan, who's giving you a lovely demonstration of her milk bar. Rowan's doing great. She is eating well, although being the diva princess that she is still, of course, asking for at least half of her food to be hand-fed. She doesn't need it to be hand-fed. It's not that she's not hungry, because she is, and it's not that she doesn't like what she's eating. She does, but she just has that desire for the extra attention. She loves the personal touch. That is part of Rowan's personality. She loves to be loved. And in exchange, she gives you unconditional, humongous amounts of love, affection, and dedication. So we're happy to do it most of the time. Sometimes I get annoyed with her and go, oh, come on, Rowan. I've got other stuff I want to do, need to do, but it's okay. Between Reynolds and I, we get it done. And Taylor's coming up this weekend. She'll be here later today. And so Taylor can take over and feed her a few times so that we get a bit of a break. Is it a big deal? No, but it's really nice when dogs do eat on their own. And moving along from Rowan, as you can see from Miss Perpy here, we have puppies who are fully engaging with people now. They are all about having attention, playtime, interaction, and look at, we've got our first kisses. I am so excited that we've gotten to this point. Nothing is better than a puppy kiss. Now Purple, because Pink is over here with Rowan, Purple's going to show you, hey, I can run, I can do all sorts of things. I can play with a ball, I can bark, I can move around with no problem. And if you saw when I was talking about Rowan there, she also is starting to chew on things. She tugs at my sleeves, she bites at my pant legs, and she is already trying to get those teeth to come through. Pinky girl, oh well, Pinky girl, this little lady is so full of affection. She is the sweet soft touch in the group, and she loves to kiss. Her goal in life is for you to cuddle with her. She just thinks that's wonderful. But Pink would like to share some very special news with you. She would like to say, hey, look at my legs. I don't have tape on my legs anymore. I'm not hobbled. And guess what? I can run all on my own. I can stand up. I can run. I can do everything now. I am a fighter, and I have really not just survived, but I am thriving. Look at her go. And she can run. And you know what? The most fun thing of all that happened this week was when Pink could first start to stand up. She was quite proud of herself, but she was stationary. But when she started to be able to move like that, oh, the tail went. The tail, I thought the tail might fall off. It was going so much. And look at, you can see it going now. Her tail is 100% going all the time. It's been so fulfilling this week to have all of these accomplishments. And Pink only has been walking on her own without hobbles and without any difficulty since Tuesday, I think it is. Yes, Tuesday was when she was first able to really walk around. So now you'll see that we've expanded their living area, and that is because Pink is now fully mobile along with Purple, because it's important that they have lots of room to move and run, like Purple showing you there, in order to develop the strength and coordination they need. And you can see the floor looks a little different. This is not what you normally see when we first expand our puppies' areas and take them out of the maternity ward. So this is just shelf paper. The shelf paper, or not paper, shelf, I don't know what you call this stuff, it's like rubber. It's the stuff that you put on shelves so that things don't move around in it. So if you have your dishes in your shelf and you don't want them sliding, this is the stuff that you use. I think it's just called shelf liner. And then underneath you see the more standard stuff that we have down for puppies at this age, which is pee pads. And the pee pads are really quite slippery. Now Purple can negotiate them, but it does cause her to slide and her back legs to go out. We don't want to undo all the progress that we've made with Pink here, that we did by having to hobble her. So we want to make sure that all the surfaces that we offer her have really good traction on them and help support her continuing development. And we want to be sure that her legs stay in the right place and that she's able to develop those muscles by having that grip. It's also important psychologically, because like I said, I'm not kidding and I'm not exaggerating or making it up. When she was able to move, you cannot believe how her entire self lit up. Her eyes opened wider, and you could just see all of the incredible excitement and joy that she had, because it was like, oh wow, I can get around, I can move on my own, and I can now go and play with Miss Purple here and knock her off her feet like she's been doing to me. So it's really important psychologically as well that Pink feels really confident and secure in her environment and with her footing, so she continues to do more and more every day. So it's just been the absolute best week. It's been long anticipated. It's been a long, hard fought battle for these kids, and I couldn't be more proud of how Rowan has supported them and how strong these puppies are in terms of tenacity and just general, I don't know what it is. They both of them have this attitude, a can-do attitude. There's never been with either of them any morose behavior, any suggestion that they were going to give up. It has always been that, yeah, I'm going to do it. I just need the support and the time to be able to get there. And Rowan's just been the best mom to the puppies. She's very good at instilling confidence with them. She loves playing with them, and she's really very protective. She's had a couple of fights with my dogs because she doesn't like them to be as close to the puppies. Now that they're open and exposed, when my dogs are in here walking around and it's dinner time, Rowan just gets livid if they get very close to the puppies. My dogs have zero interest in her puppies. The last thing they want to do is have anything to do with her puppies. But Rowan sees these as the pinnacle of what every dog and person aspires to. And so she is very, very robust in her defense of these two little girls. And Reynold was saying the other day that he thinks she probably is a little bit more protective because of all of what they've gone through and the journey that they've taken in order to not just survive, but now to start to thrive. And I suspect that that's probably true. Rowan is a very sensitive girl. She's very aware of things. And so I think Reynolds is right that that's probably part of what's going on here. Because certainly last time when Rowan had puppies, she couldn't have cared less. Ripple was in with her puppies as much as she was. Ripple is Rowan's grandma. And that was totally fine with her. And she couldn't have, it didn't matter to her at all who was in with her puppies. Whereas this time it's quite a different story. Now you'll see right now what we see at week 4 in terms of the difference in temperament between these two. It's very, very nominal. But Purple, before she just got up here, she's content to be sleeping on her own. Pink sleeps on her own too, of course. However, if Pink's got the choice, she'd rather be snuggled up with a person or with Mama Rowan. And now you see Pink here. So this is quite a good obstacle for her. She has to have the strength in her legs to get herself over what is, for her, a considerable hump. And we'll watch her and we'll see what she does in order to, or maybe she's just going to go to sleep. And Purple is going to show you an interesting ALD sleeping pose. And if you look through our Facebook, you will often see posts of ALD sleeping in the most peculiar ways and using their beds in a very different fashion. And that's a really good example of a curious way to sleep. So now that they've crashed, they're not going to be able to demonstrate how they interact with their toys, but I want to talk about their toys. So they only have 3 toys in their bed, in their nest with them, and these are the 3. Now these are all very small. This one is actually a human baby toy. These 2 are dog toys. And the reason for the size is not to overwhelm. These are small puppies. These are puppies who do not need anything that's going to put them off interactions. These puppies are just developing in terms of how they feel about experiences and the world. So what we're doing here is providing them all the opportunity to experience new things, but also that the experiences they have are positive. So the first little guy we have here, who is a baby toy, this guy is in here for a few reasons, but the main one is this. He makes a noise. And you can see that Pink lifts her head up when she hears it. Purple's, oh, there's Purple's like, oh yeah, well, okay, maybe I'll pay attention. What is it? And the reason we do that is because this toy will make a noise when it moves. So they just have to bop into it or step on it, and they'll hear that noise. Now that's totally unexpected for them. That's not something that they're accustomed to have happening in their day. So we want them to do that so they learn that when they hear a new noise, nothing bad happens. And indeed, maybe this is something fun to hang out with. Maybe it's a good place to rest your head when you're sleeping. Maybe this is really good to chew on because it's soft and easy to get your mouth around when you're just a little tiny puppy and you're just starting to teeth. Now you'll see how they've moved and how they've gotten closer to each other. They love to snuggle up with each other, but they do also sleep independently. And they will sometimes choose to sleep with a toy, and they do sometimes use the toys to support their heads. They do like to have pillows. We'll see if Purple will sleep on me so you can see her. She does like to go in and hide behind me. Now this next little guy, the striped tiger guy, he's a bit bigger. He doesn't make any noise at all, intentionally, because I don't want any noise from him. He's here solely to provide texture, which is very soft, and have small enough feet and arms and ears that little mouths can get around them and chew on them to start teething if they choose to. I don't think you're uncomfortable there. You go sleep there. So that's the purpose of Mr. Tiger. And then we have the ball. The ball is here to be a ball. It also has a great texture, the pebbly fleece, so soft, but also not small enough for them to really get in their mouths. So that is providing them with a little bit of a challenge. But we have two things that can go in their mouths so they don't get frustrated with that. And you'll see Purple is nosing the ball. She's putting her paw on it, and I can tell you that she plays with that quite extensively. She chases it all over the place from end to end in her room here. Pink sometimes joins in with that, but Pink is not as into chasing the ball yet as Purple is. And now what I was telling you about how they use the toy to cuddle up with, there's a perfect example with Pink right now. She's arranged it so that the toy is underneath her, giving her a bit of a pillow and a bit of support, and she thinks that's quite comfortable. And Rowan is showing you the classic mature ALD pose here. There's absolutely no modesty involved with these dogs because of course they have no idea what the word modesty means or that there's any need to ever be ashamed of any part of your body. One of the brilliant things about our dogs. So when we're choosing toys for our puppies and for our adult dogs, it's very important that we have toys that are appropriate for their age, their personality, and their developmental level. Toys are not a luxury. Toys and treats are two words we use with dogs a lot, and we tend to think of those as special items because we take our kids to go buy a toy as a reward. We give our kids a treat as a reward or something special. That's not the case with dogs. Treats for dogs are currency. That's how you're paying your dog. That's how you're saying, hey, what you just did, that's what we want. You did your job, here's your payment. Or, hey, you know what? I love you so much. You're just the best dog in the world. Here's a treat. Please enjoy it. It's currency. You're showing them that what they did was good and they deserve to be paid for it. It's the only currency that we have other than our emotional bonds with our dogs that tells them yes or no. And by not giving them a treat, they're not getting paid. We're not going to say, oh, BAD, dog, or, you know, we do say no when they're learning, but it's not about the negative reinforcement. It's all about the positive reinforcement. Absolutely, you're going to use negative reinforcement when needed, but that should be very seldom and only if really, really necessary. Instead, what you want to do primarily is ignore behavior that's not what you like and then really reward the behavior you do like. And as dogs get older, we tend to get complacent. So if Rowan, for instance, is doing something like, let's say when someone comes to the door and we don't want her to bark endlessly at whoever's at the door, and all we want is for her to give us a warning about them barking and then stop barking, then it's really easy for us as the dog is mature to forget to reward them for that. So it's really easy for us to go, Rowan, no, stop, that's enough, quiet. And then when they're quiet, just carry on. We forget that we need to go, thank you, good job, here's a treat. Because otherwise, what's the incentive? I mean, yeah, there's the incentive because she wants to do what I want her to do, because she wants us to have a good relationship. However, it's not really a very equitable relationship if we just disregard the behavior that's good and continue on as if that's just expected. Sure, it's expected, but we do want to remember to say, thank you. I really appreciate that you're doing what I'm asking you to do. Because it's totally contrary to what Rowan would do as a dog. A dog's natural instinct is to bark their fool heads off at somebody at the door when the doorbell rings or somebody comes over that they don't know. That's their instinct. Especially right now, Rowan has a tremendously strong desire to protect her babies. So she's really amped up if somebody different comes. And we tend to just anticipate and expect that she's going to do what we want rather than saying thank you. So just something to keep in mind. It's really easy to remember to reward your puppy because they tend to be doing things that we don't necessarily always want them to do, and we're shaping them as they're developing them. But once they're mature and they're already doing all these things, we tend to forget all about that. It's just like learning with your dog. I hate the word obedience. I don't even like training. I like learning because, you know, really at the end of the day, when you're teaching your puppy what you do and you don't want, you're the one who's learning. You're teaching them, but you're the one who has to learn because you have to learn how to communicate with them, how to get through to them, and how to get them to do what it is you want them to do. Because so many things we asked our dogs to do are contrary to what dogs would be doing naturally. So we have to always be remembering that. We have to respect the fact that we're asking our dogs to change their natural instinctive behavior and to do things our way. And we have to remember to say thank you. And we have to remember to keep working on that. We don't just assume that because our dog knows how to sit, stay, come, roll over, whatever we've taught them, that that's it. Learning together is a lifelong process, and I can tell you, especially ALDs just thrive on learning with you, and that creates the strongest bond. It just is amazing how much more close you are with your dog when you continue to learn new things together. So find something different for your dog to learn. Maybe you're going to teach them to go in a circle. Maybe you're going to teach them how to do dock diving. Maybe you're going to teach them to actually bring the ball back when you throw it. This one here sometimes was not bringing the ball back when she first came to stay with us. Now she brings the ball back consistently. So all these things are very important to remember for your lifetime with your dog. It's not just the first 12 months, which are very intense. It goes on forever and ever. Now I want to show you here where we see pink color as she's lying, and I want to focus on her left leg there. Now you'll see how it's out behind her, and you'll see how purples are tucked underneath her. So what we've been doing is every time we come in, we do this. We just put it underneath her. So that was part of her physiotherapy. And see, now she's put that one out, and so I'm just going to put that one there. So every day what I was doing was 4 times a day doing 10 minutes of physiotherapy with Pink. And that involved just lifting her legs up and down. I'm going to bother her and show you. So all I was doing was this. And I would do it 30 times on each leg. Then we were doing full range of motion like this. And then I would place her and have her stand. And I would hold her legs in the correct position. And she would, at that time, just immediately collapse because she didn't have the strength in there. So that was what we were doing over and over and over. And as a result, I think this is why she likes all the attention and being with me so much, because we've developed a pretty strong bond from doing that together all the time, haven't we? Yes, we've done a lot of things together. And you know, I'd have to say she was amazingly cooperative. She would tell me when she'd had enough, and I always respected that. If she was saying, yeah, you know, I don't want to do this now, I just say, okay, fine, give her a 10-minute break and then come back and try again. So even though she's now able to walk and run around and has full range of motion, her legs are in the right place and she has that strength, every time now I'm still coming in regularly, checking to see how she's sleeping and placing her legs, just to continue to reinforce that. Now the next step that we're going to do is today being delivered is eggshell foam. I bought 12 by 12 squares of it. That's going to go underneath the pee pads and create a very textured, varied surface, because that will continue to make her develop more muscle tone in her back legs. And that's what I really want to do. She's great, and she looks exactly the same as Purple, but I know that her actual muscle tone is not as good as Purple's is. So I want to be sure over the next week that we catch her up, and there'll be no problem with her catching up. But we want to do it so that it's constant, because I'm not in here 24/7. I'm in here lots, way more than with most puppies. But we want to make sure that her environment is continuing to support her development, and make sure that by week 6, there's absolutely zero difference between her and Purple. And I can tell you right now, these two are incredibly similar. They are almost twins. They both weigh 1.4 kilograms, so they weigh the same. We have started feeding them solid food. They're not exactly thrilled about the idea. They haven't started licking it themselves out of the bowl. They'll run through the bowl, lick it off of one another and off of our fingers. So they eat maybe, I don't know, a tablespoon a day, do you think, Reynolds? Would that be what they eat, roughly? Maybe not even that much, so it's not very much yet. They still definitely prefer mom. At the end of this week, we will start to reduce Rowan's food intake. She'll go from 4 meals a day down to 2. And the quantity will also be reduced, and the amount of puppy food will also be reduced. And that is us starting to dry up her milk supply. Now she, as you saw when she was upside down, she's not got a huge milk bar. Milk supply is on demand, and of course there's not a lot of demand with only 2 puppies. So we don't have a lot to deal with there, but nonetheless we want to make sure that she's getting dried up, because at the conclusion of this week, probably on next Friday, well, maybe even Wednesday next week, she'll start spending the night with us. She will not sleep in here with her puppies. We'll let her tell us if she's comfortable with that. Right now we lock her in here with the puppies at night, because otherwise she comes and scratches on the door, wants to come and sleep with us, but then 2 hours later she wants to be back in here. And I don't know what you're like, but we prefer to actually sleep through the night and not have to get up every 2 hours. We did that enough with these guys. So for now we have her in here, and then what we'll do is we'll just move her fully into our bedroom once we're sure that they are able to lap enough food during the night that we will leave out for them to be okay during the night without nursing. So that'll be their next milestone for this coming week. And that's about all that we've got to report this week. The videos that will be coming out to our families is really just going to be reinforcing things about desensitization and socialization. So we're working on that with the toys. We do have the Doodle Den TV set up now, so they're listening to a variety of things. They've listened to dogs barking. They'll be moving on to fireworks this week and some thunder and lightning, so that they become desensitized to those sounds. We do things like crash around in here a bit, so we'll take the bowls and we'll put them together, we'll clap. When Reynold comes in, he likes to make noises and go, "Hey, baby puppies!" There, and you see there, I scared Pink by doing that. But she settles right away. She's like, "Wait, what? Why are you yelling? What's going on? Oh, goodness, what was that, Mommy? Why were you yelling?" So we do all sorts of things like that, and then give them a little pet, make sure they are secure. We don't do that when they're sitting in here alone and feel like, oh my goodness, we're at risk. We do that when we're in here and we can pet them and say, "Hey, it's okay, we're right here to support you. And look, nothing happened. Everything's good." So you don't want to overload them when you're desensitizing them and, you know, scare them into being desensitized, because that's not real desensitization. You want to get them so they're confident. And so the next time you go, "Hey, baby puppy, hey, woohoo, yay, puppy," And then you can see the difference in her reaction there. Nothing near as much. All she did was pick up her head. And of course, Mama got in the way, so we couldn't show what her little reaction was. But that was really what we were seeing. So we've had a great time, a great week full of success. We're really, really proud of the accomplishments of these two little babies, especially our beautiful little pink girl here, who has just won us over 1,000% with her beautiful little temperament and how she has worked so hard to be completely mobile. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked our video and you found it helpful, please give us a thumbs up. And if you have a moment, we'd really appreciate it if you take a sec and you would pop some comments in for us. And if you would like to stay informed, hit that bell icon so that you get notified every time a new video comes out. We really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.